So we visited the crash site of the C-46 crash from January 6, 1953. This was in Pat's Hollow near Green Canyon and Logan Canyon. Even in the snow, these hidden chop-top pine trees serve as reminders and stand guard faithfully defending the spot and moment in time when a plane carrying equally faithful soldiers crashed. The only thing these evergreen trees took from the veterans was the brief memory of the final seconds of their lives. They had survived the horrors of war and the killing fields of Korea, just to die on their way home back to their loved ones. Many family members would be waiting to greet them. When they loaded the aircraft, it was literally brimming over, weighted down with 37 servicemen, 3 crew members, and baggage. It made the C-46 weigh about 400 pounds over at maximum weight. The pilot took off from Seattle, Washington anyway, at 0500 hours en route to Cheyenne, Wyoming, the first leg of their journey. The plane was scheduled to fly over Rock Springs, Wyoming at 4:45 a.m. That was the last anyone heard from Flight 166A. At approximately 4:12 a.m. on the morning of January 6, 1953, the C-46 transport plane, nicknamed the Commando, making its way from Seattle, Washington to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, crashed into the side of the mountain 8 miles west of Fish Haven, Idaho. Once the wreck was found 5 days later, medics parachuted into the scene. No survivors were found. Deep snow made it impossible to identify the bodies, and wreckage sat under a military guard until June 20th, 1953, when recovery operations were finally completed. All 40 persons, which included 37 servicemen returning from action in the Korean War, lost their lives instantly. The aircraft was forced down as the result of ice on the wings and severe turbulence. An original monument and memorial was dedicated at the crash site on September 23, 1967. Marvin Reeder, a Korean War veteran, said it best when he said, "I thought about the horrors of war, and I've thought about what we were fighting for, to preserve the freedoms of people of the world and to preserve the freedoms that we enjoy under our Constitution. That responsibility hasn't left us. We all have a responsibility to defend that Constitution, and we have a responsibility to honor the names that are on that monument."
So, when Jerry and I came to this site, it wasn't the first time we've been here, but we came last summer. And I just felt like I had a memory that Dad had told me that he had been involved with the search for this plane when it went down with the Bear Lake Rangers horse riding club. And I asked my older brothers, and that was not part of their recall.
I was 2 years old when that.
And so they started to deduce the timetable and said, not sure that the time is right. So we weren't sure. We just weren't sure. And so before I came, I decided to look in Dad's history, and this is what he writes, so we get clarification of whether he was involved or not. So it says, just before Christmas 1953, now his dates are a little off, but he says, before Christmas 1953, an airplane carrying troops home for Christmas crashed back at St. Charles, killing all on board. The snow and the terrain was so tough they didn't get them out till spring. Rodney was born June 20th, 1953. He was only about a week old when Charles, Wyona, Faye, Shirley, Max, Rod, and I went up to the plane crash site. It was really a mess. All the bodies had been gathered up, but there were still some parts left. Faye picked up a jawbone with the teeth still in it. Charles made him throw it away. Charles found a bundle of letters that a woman had wrote to her husband. He bundled them up and sent them back to her. Several years later, they put up a plaque with all the names on it and had quite a ceremony. All the wives were invited and flew into our airport, which was built in 1942. This lady came and saw Charles and thanked him for sending her the letters. And that's what he writes. So he wasn't part of the recovery, but it came up right
Within a
after.
year of the...
Just walk up
But
the trail.
the Bear Lake Rangers were involved in the search party, And they went in on horses.
Which is 6 months later.
No, this was when it happened.
Oh, right when it happened.
So there's another write-up about it from Friday Peterson's son, who was a longtime member of the Bear Lake Rangers. Friday and a bunch of the Bear Lake Rangers did come in on horses trying to find and get to the crash site. And the snow was too overwhelming for the horses. They couldn't make it. So Friday and 2 other rangers did put on snowshoes, and they did make it into the crash site when it happened. So the rangers were involved in the search, but not Dad.
It's sunbathing on you.
It's a black one.
Because you're wearing a pink shirt.
It's a black and white one.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, turn back.
I know.
Put your hand out.
In the last year or two, where,
Put your hand out.
This is her dream.
I'm guessing that's a chunky grenade.
Grenades, man.
Imagine the snow here in January. I mean, no. That's why they had to wait until June to finally get in here.
Come in close.
You're an animal.
You got a little piece of sheet metal, it looks like. Yep.
So I think this is a piece of wiring harness. You can see the metal protective on the out. So we just found that up on the ridge.
Hold on, we'll do a scan.
The best way to see it is
Look like bone?
It sure could be. Now, is it plausible to consider that it's not human?
That's what I asked.
You know, we don't know.
Yeah,
But-
cow or
I would.
deer or
I'm
whatever.
assuming it
But that's-
is. So
You could add it to the pile.
we
Yeah,
will.
for
We
sure,
will.
Yeah, that's definitely bone.
Show Gene.
Oh my
sure
gosh,
what that
look, is that a
is.
belt
Like a
buckle?
can lid, maybe a little can lid.
And it may be too rusty to even
Yeah, it's pretty thick.
Get the imprint on.
That side is where they'll be riding if they're.
Gene, you want me to put him on his leash?
Good thing you had a walking stick right there.
We was only up there an hour. Where'd you go? Place of Squirrel Hollow, it's called.
I only have a few little.
Yeah, yours is flat, straight off, and I bet you Grandpa or someone.
What's that?
Baby's breath.
It's a weed. It's called
I
white
know.
top.
We like but dude, if you buy baby's breath at a florist, what's it
It's $1
called?
million.
Anyway, it's a lot of money. So like
I'm
This
just kidding.
isn't
It's
a-
not a weed.
I know,
so.
but it's not official baby's breath, but it looks like it. It's
close enough.
We'll take it. We'll add it to Jenny's bouquet from yesterday.
That'll look cute.